Good morning, everyone. Silvia Getting Buenos dias. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. I know a few languages to say good morning, welcome, please come. This is the first tune-in of CSI 2022. I'm happy to see that some of you could sleep enough to get up this morning. That is very good news. And would you please stand up right away so that we get a little bit even more fresh this morning? And even if you use the spaces that is outside the chairs, or even push the chair a little bit to the front. Push the chair to the front. Stretch your arms to the side and make sure that you have enough space. Meanwhile, I ask Alice to pull up the video that we released. Okay. Do you have enough space? Yeah, okay. So, this morning, we will start with getting active, and you will see two men. Oh, you already see them. Okay, so choose which one you want to be, the red one or the blue one. Okay, we will go back. Always you can go ahead and start it. Choose which one you want to follow, and we will follow. You will see that you know this music piece, and here we go. And stop. We are here from different cultural backgrounds, but we are so many people, like over 200. And so if you want to begin a program at 8:45, probably it would do good to stay if we would arrive at 8:43 to have time to go from that side of the room to the other side. So, if you want to be nice with me and exercise a little bit of kindness, please do so next morning. So if you want to come, try to be in time. It's alright if you want to sleep, but let us try to be a little bit more punctual, okay? Is that a good request on my side? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, here we go. Every morning we will have a little artistic contribution or inspiration from somebody, and this morning we invited two young girls, Elisabeth Kornar and Katalin Oros, and they will perform Allegretto movement from the duet for flute and violin in G major by Franz Anton Hofmeister. Please welcome them. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Katalin. Okay, a GPS for artists. What is this? Why do we need a GPS? Where are we going? You probably in your spoken review were thinking and talking about why this topic. And this morning we will start with the first subtopic, or can I say like that? Your location, please. That's the title of this morning, because wherever you sit in your car and you start your GPS, that's the first thing that you have to give. Actually, the GPS is telling for you where you are. And so I would like to invite this morning Beatrice, the founder of Crescendo International, co-founder. He's a writer, a theologian, a father, a grandfather, and he has a very good sense of humor. Beat, you have your
Thank you very much for the kind words. It's always dangerous to find someone with good humor and bad jokes will come out of his mouth. So, I'm good in bad jokes. And thank you so much for being here this morning and for this wonderful dance. I'm still a little bit exhausted because I'm old, and my wife is actually sending greetings. She will arrive. We have started 2 years ago with Crescendo with dancers, ballet dancers from different big companies, from San Francisco Ballet to New York City Ballet to over the whole world. And now the first live meeting, not only Zoom meeting, is taking place on Cyprus with dancers. My wife has a background in modern dance in Finland, and she will join later. So, but I thought we showed this actually at the wrong conference. It would be better to show this in the conference of the dancers. But we are working, and my wife is working together with Ashley Latvala, who is the leader of the dance ministry of Crescendo, to integrate in the future dancers here. Ballet dances, this would be really fun. We did it already a little bit, but why not? And having maybe a ballet, in the future. Okay, the track walks over there, but orchestra when you play, then you will have some ideas for musical, whatever. Okay, but now it's about the position. You know this, what Christina already said. It's annoying when you set your GPS, you have to wait first till the GPS is recognizing your position, and you need some patience for this. But it's very important, of course, because if you don't know your position, you don't know how long it takes to go and how long you have to drive. But you have to make pause when, is a car, has it been out to cool, and so on and so on. This is, of course, important for driving a car, but it's as well important for a musician, for example. You had to reach in an MP3 file, and the faculty was listening to it and recognizing your position. And as well what happens today when you see your teacher for the first time, maybe in this moment when you are in the class or when you are in the course, then the teacher will give you some feedback where you are, and you already probably know, but it's important to localize your position, and then you know where to drive during the week, or to do weeks till the end of the institute, and where to land, and what is possible and what is not possible with this. This is, of course, as well very important for your whole life. Now, as I said yesterday, at least 1% of your life is being not a musician. Of course, this was a joke, a bad joke. This is much more than 1%. Actually, in our logo, when you see the the Schindler logo, there is a motto, and this means more than music. More than music. Geschirr is more than music. I'm a writer, as Christina said, so I'm happy about this logo. And there's not only music as an art form, there are other art forms, of course, but as well with life. There's more than music in your life, right? I hope so, at least. I had a very good friend, and some of you know him, and had a chance to know him. He died in March, and this was Franz Mohr. And Franz Mohr was the chief technician of Steinway and Sons, and it means that he was the tuner of Horwitz, the exclusive tuner of Horwitz and Glenn Gould. And he was tuning for Rubinstein because he was the chief technician of Steinway in New York. Origin from Germany, and he made many tours in Europe and wrote books together. And you will find actually on the Schindler table there a CD box with interviews with him, and it's worth to take it to Dubai. It's very cheap, €5. And Franz Mohr, we became good friends. He told me many times that Horwitz turned to him and said, "You're pianists, who are much better than I am. I make so many mistakes, and they don't. Young pianists. But there's something lacking." And he said, here, something is lacking. Now it's important for you as a musician not only to know where you are technically or technique-wise with your skills of playing the flute or the violin and where to go, but as well as a human being. Are you aware of this, that there is something happening which is very important for your music and for your whole life? Now, during this institute, as we have the motto, and we are following the motto More Than Music, we want to help you to become a better musician, not only on the technical side, but as well here. Because it's about your personality. And not only to become a better musician, but we all need to help each other to become better persons and to be more balanced and, to get mature. We cannot stay teenagers. It's nice to be teenagers, of course. But there are some people who stay teenagers the whole life. Horowitz, I think his inner child, as psychologists would say, was the child of a teenager his whole life. And something was lacking in his life. Crazy enough, fantastic genius. But he would have been even more probably brilliant musician without his terrible breakdowns he had in his career, if he wouldn't have been a teenager in his heart his whole life, or even so childish. Now, this is about here in our lives. Now, I would like to recommend 4 things. The first thing is very simple. Don't forget to ask, who am I? Of course, to reflect, what am I? What is my background? You know it, but to reflect about this family background, my upbringing, what did I learn, who was influencing me, and who should influence me more in my future? Where should then I go? These 2 questions are linked very closely. Ask yourself, have some introspection, and ask yourself, who am I? It's good not with 80 years to ask this question for the first time, but now you have the chance, as you're very young, to ask this question. The second thing is to know each other. It's better and very important that we are in a community, right? That we are mirroring each other, and that we are reflecting ourselves in others and vice versa. And the beautiful thing is that
you can encourage the other person and say, have you ever thought of how beautiful your sound is? Or I like how you speak, or I like how you, whatever. And this is encouraging. Let's encourage each other during these 2 weeks. And it does so good when others are giving you the honest compliment and feedback. And there's a story, you might know it, an old Greek story of Narcissus. Narcissus was a young man, and he loved mainly himself. And he ended up in a tragic way. He didn't mirror himself in others because he loved himself. Only himself, exclusively himself. So he ended up at a lake, a small lake, and mirroring himself in the lake. And you know, he fell in love with himself. And then this love was so painful that he died. And because, you know, he couldn't really reach himself, and his tears were dropping into the lake. And what happens? The loved one disappeared. And this was even more tragic, and his heart broke. Now, that's a nice story told by Ovid then and other Greek writers, but it's very true. If we only mirror ourselves in our mirror, in the mirror, and not in others, and if we don't build up relationship where we can encourage others, then we see only ourselves, and this is tragic, and we will die in the death. And there are people who are in a very sick way, narcissists, but all of us know this a little bit, that we love ourselves, that's okay, but it's only about us. And that's a dangerous tendency. So let's encourage each other during these days. Of course, we can as well say, you should do this better. Your position, your GPS position is not there, but there. Did you realize you are not yet there? You are there. So let's be more realistic, please. And I want to help you to locate yourself a little bit better. Once more, and we were in Vienna, at a Steinway lecture with him, and I was organizing it. And in Vienna, the pianist in the Steinway house in Vienna was playing. What was it? I don't remember. A difficult piece, and failed really in an awful way. And this musician didn't know, where am I? What can I do? And Franz then, in his very counseling way, went to her and said, look, why don't you play a simple, beautiful piece? You know, Kinderlied, Schumann, or whatever, a simple piece. They are difficult enough, of course, but why don't you start there? And you could play beautifully. And he told me another story of someone he was tuning for, and this person thought, I am the second Horowitz, you know, and bought a big piano, the best piano she could afford, or her husband could afford, and was, you know, just crazy about her career. The marriage broke because of this, because she didn't realize, where am I? So be realistic and let others tell you, where am I? Because they want to help you. Another thing is, enjoy that you are different. Enjoy the uniqueness of being different. I'm traveling a lot, I really like, and that's what now I like to see faces, different faces. And I praise God for so many different faces. Nobody is like the other. You know, different kind of nose and mouth and eyebrows and eyes and so on. It's just fantastic. I enjoy it. Please enjoy your uniqueness. Rejoice in diversity. It's fantastic. It's really fantastic. And you can accomplish with your existence others. You know, the painter Andy Warhol, you know, he painted Marilyn Monroe and others just in the same way, and it's an expression of our time. You know, not appreciating diversity, just, you know, boring, being the same. This is what our society tries to do with us, as well in the music industry, to do with you. Don't follow this. Enjoy that you are different. Rejoice in your uniqueness. You are created in a unique way and you are placed, and the task on this planet only you can fulfill. We need you. We need you. Rejoice in this. And rejoice that you are special. Enjoy that you are loved. Now I'm sure your parents loved you, or are loving you. I'm sure your friends are loving you. And this is confirming us and giving us, you know, joy. Yes, I am important for them. I'm important for them. Even more, I'm deeply convinced, I'm a theologian, sorry for this, but I am deeply convinced that God loves you. And just be open for the love of God. God wanted you. God has created you. He loves you. He loves you in your uniqueness. And it's okay. Of course, we all have many faults and weaknesses and whatever. That's no problem for God. He loves you in an abundant way. Someone said to me once, love of God is like an ocean. It's like an ocean. And we human beings come with a cup. And thinking, wow, that's already wonderful. But God's love is like an ocean. It's much more than you could ever imagine, and His love for you is much more than you ever could imagine. There is one nice, very nice scripture in the Bible which says, 1 John 4, fear is not in love. There's no fear in love. God's love is special, don't fear. There's no place for fear. Of course, we all are afraid. And I'm sure you're as well already nervous today, what is happening today. Of course, that's normal. I hope you're not too much afraid of your teachers. They are more or less kind, I know that. Not all, but most. All are very, very kind. And don't be afraid of it. But even more, you know, there's no fear in perfect love, and love comes from God. So you can be at ease. You're loved in your life. You are loved. Relax, please. Dear friends, relax with setting your GPS. You are loved. Don't be afraid. So we are setting our GPS when we are afraid, when we have fear in the wrong way. Many people are fear-driven in their lives. And they are setting the GPS because they are fear-driven, because they want to reach the goals their parents have with them, the teachers have with them, and so on, or they have with them as well. And they are fear-driven that they don't reach this goal and they cannot please others. But you don't need to please others. You don't need to please yourself. You are okay. There is love enough for you. Don't be fear-driven as in your musical career, in your whole life. Be love-driven. Some questions for you. How do you feel to be different than others? Are you at a disadvantage? Do you feel inferior when you think of others? Are you content with your position you are? Or are you struggling with this and stepping into the thinking of competition? I should be like the other, or I should please the other. Do you feel inferior or not? I was always the smallest in my school. All of us smallest, youngest, whatever, and others were bashing me all the time. They were bigger, you know. It's easy to bash some small guy, and so I was a good victim for others. And somehow it shaped my self-image, you know. I am such small. Now I discovered I'm still small, but there's something else in my life which is important and being loved. Do you often reflect on yourself? Did you start to reflect on yourself? What is this inner dialogue with you? There's hopefully some inner dialogue about your position, about your GPS. What are the voices telling you which position you are? Do you constantly question your position yourself, or do you rejoice in being unique? Do you see yourself in a positive light? Do you allow others to speak into your lives in an encouraging way? Do you accept encouragement or not? Or saying, many of us saying, oh, I don't believe this, what you say. I know myself better. Or do you accept it? And how can you help others to accept themselves more? Is it easy to encourage others? Now, a homework for you, finally, for this day. And before you start to practice, just have a minute of silence and asking, where is my position? Where am I as a musician, but as well as a human being? Where am I? What are my feelings? Reflect a little bit about yourself, not as Narcissus, but as someone who wants to discover him and herself in a better way. And finally, again, very important, be not fear-driven, be love-driven.
Thank you so much for that. We will continue with music, and I have to tell you that, Paulina is with us, and as you know, like she's your teacher of classical improvisation, and I don't know how you feel about improvisation, but there is fear in improvisation, isn't it? Like, I'm an actress, and I know that stepping on the stage without a complete text, that can be dangerous, because you just simply don't know what is happening. But Paulina somehow manages not to fear that much, and I hand the microphone to her, because she has a question to you.
Hi, good morning. Christian Stula, do you have a flute with you? Can you take it out and go over there? Here? Yeah, somewhere over there. And Michelle? Yes, Michelle. Good morning. So now that we learned what the homework for the day is, let's start together. So where are we this morning? First morning, how do we feel? Please shout out, how do you feel this morning? Okay, I heard tired. Then? What else? Tired? Intimidated. Okay, furious. Furious. I'm gonna need some context. Curious. I think that goes quite nicely. We have intimidated, curious, tired, and full of expectation. Is that too much? Is somebody translating these? Yes, great. Full of expectation, intimidated, curious. That's for you, Christian. That's
Here. Good morning.
This is the A.
I don't need it. Yeah, like in orchestra, you know.
Full of expectation, intimidated, tired, curious. Okay.
so much. It was really uplifting. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the joke and music. I'm not a musician, so I'm always surprised that that is possible, but it is. Thank you. Bert just was speaking about daily challenge. He asked you to stop before you start your rehearsal or practice today and think about, yeah, where am I? How do I feel? And this is just a reminder that yes, there is a daily challenge, and maybe that is leading you towards your goal. Maybe this is the first step, even to think about what is my goal in my life, or as a musician, or as a person. And slowly we start journeying on this path. And this is the first exercise you might want to do in your day and include in your day. Okay, so that was a little bit tune in. I hope you liked it. And I have some announcements so that we help your day this day, okay? So very quickly, Christian Studler's first class together today will exceptionally not be in the big gym of the elementary school, but here in room 102 of the main building. You see it also on the screen. The singers of Bence Borba's opera scene should check the exact schedule every morning under the heading Opera Scenes. Singers check the schedule every morning. First jazz meeting will be from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday, which is today. Anyone who has applied or wants to participate should show up in the jazz room. You find the jazz room if you take that corridor or that corridor and you want to just go around, and then you will see the jazz room. Okay? Operational announcements. The kitchen does not prepare vegetarian, lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant, or other special food. So lunch and dinner come from an external company. You can pick up these meals in the room on the left in the dormitory's canteen. If it has cooled down, feel free to use the microwave oven. Breakfast is in the same common room. Yeah, so Storuto announcements, we have a small group meeting today. So be sure that you are in your small group and enjoy the conversation about this morning's topic. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.